Okay, so obviously we're on season 2 of Knightfall now, but I mean, what first attracted you to get involved in the show in the first place?
Like back in season 1?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when the script first came in, and I remember thinking, this is completely new and original. Like, I don't think the Templars have ever been done before. Like, you'll see them in things like, you know, they're mentioned in the Da Vinci Code and stuff like that, but it's the first time that the Templars had been dealt with head-on, no holds barred kind of way, where you kind of go deep into their world, you go into the temple, see what their daily lives were like, see what their rituals were like. And the way we tell the story, you get to imagine a little bit like what, you know, their loves, what were they like as human beings? Would they have fallen in love? Did they have ambitions and aspirations and stuff like that? So that's what hooked me originally, was like, this is new. Because it actually doesn't happen that often where you, I mean, as an actor you get a lot of scripts, but it doesn't happen that often where you get one and you kind of go, okay, this is a good one. And I got the tingles. You know.
Yeah.
You get the tingles?
Yeah. You also, you know, you play the baddie, and they always, well, kind of a baddie, and they always have the best roles.
Good guys.
What is it about that
boring.
kind of role? It's just
like
so
good guys, they're
into.
impossibly good.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, go have sex with someone, drink. God damn it.
Exactly.
You only live once.
That's why I always think your Knights Templars are a bit hypocritical.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, Landry's a big bloody hypocrite, isn't he?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. But he is. He sleeps with the king's wife.
Yeah.
You know, who's his best friend's wife. He breaks all of the Templar vows. When Queen Joan, you know, when she's dying, I'm like, oh, of course, season 1, I'm allowed to say that. He gives her a drink from the Grail, but he won't give it to Gawain to heal his knee. And what a hypocrite! Exactly. Is it any wonder Gawain is pissed off?
So yeah, obviously you mentioned that. So there's obviously a lot of bad blood between the two of you. Do we get a chance to see that explode at any point? Do you get to air your differences?
Like literally explode, yeah. There's a point in season 2 where they're fighting and it's like everything is falling down around them, literally. There's flames and things all around them. It's quite a vision of hell. And you can feel it coming up, you know, as the season progresses. But that's unresolved, and then they have another moment where they meet later on, but it's in very different circumstances where neither of them expected to be. And yeah, and then towards the end of the season, the two of them find themselves as just the two of them together, and they have to work together, and it's a very awkward situation. So it's yeah, you expect it to be quite straightforward with Landry and Gawain, and that it's just going to come to a blow, and someone or both of them are going to meet their end. But there's more twists to it than that, and that's what I love about Gawain. He's constantly, the character changes, and just when you think you get to know him, he heads off in a different direction. When you think he's got his colours pinned to a mast, and you think he's the most, you know, biggest bastard ever, he does something that makes you go, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. So I've actually seen the first 2 episodes, and it seems that you're both quite similar. You both have gone along this path of, you've fallen out of favour, obviously, and but you've taken different paths. He's down the road of redemption. Yeah. Yours is more like going out, getting drunk, whoring, and and basically selling your services to the highest bidder. Yeah. What's in store for Gawain and the rest of his journey? I mean, is it more of the same of what I've just mentioned? Or?
It is, yeah. It's like you said, the first time you see Gawain in episode 1 of season 2, it's like he's taken that Templar template and just gone and smashed it. He couldn't be more different than, you know, the guy he was in episode 1 of season 1, where now he's part of this underground medieval fight club scenario where it's a fight to the death. He's a lost soul. He's completely without purpose. And that's all Gawain wants, really, is purpose. That's what happened in season 1 as well. His purpose, as he saw it, was taken away from him. He was told he could no longer be a fighter. He couldn't be a warrior. And that's the most devastating thing for him, because he's like I remember the director saying to me when we were doing season 1, he said, you got to think of him, he's like a Mozart with the sword. You know, he was a kind of a prodigy, a natural. And when that's taken away from him, it's the end of the world for him. And that's why he's so pissed off at Landry. So all Gawain wants is a purpose, and like you said, whoever can provide him with that purpose, and if he gets some payment in the meantime, that's good. But again, it's not that simple. When you think that's what Gawain is about, something will happen. A few things happen in season 2, later on in season 2, that turn all of those things on its head.
Okay. But also, you mentioned obviously he's the greatest. He's the master swordsman. How hard was it to do those sequences, those fight sequences?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, when we go out to Prague, where we film the series, we spend anything up to a month in this boot camp situation, where you're from day one. They have you doing things like circuit training and all that to keep you, in shape. But from day one, they'll put like a bamboo sword and a bamboo shield in your hand, so you get used to the feel of it, and you start practicing the fight sequences immediately that you could be filming in maybe a month's time. Sometimes you don't have that luxury because it can happen quicker than that. But it just means that when you do find yourself on set in front of the camera and you've got rain machines and wind in your face and it's chaotic and there's hundreds of extras, that you know exactly what you're doing. And it's also done it makes sure that everything is safe as well, because you learn the safety side of it when you're in there, in the studio, or in the place where we rehearse, the gym in Barrendale Studios. So everything, although it might look like full-on war on TV, it's carefully.
Handbags at dawn.
There were accidents. I remember in season. No, it was this season. One of the opening fights I have where I'm with Tancred, and I got to do a move, and he had dropped his shield, and I had begun to swing, and I couldn't stop. And there, I can see it. It's hitting him right on the center of the head. Bonk. And then blood.
Oh, no.
So accidents happen, when you're on set, but still we look out for each other.
Yeah. There's also, if there was a scope to go for a season 3, would you still be around to do that?
No.
I hate it. That's bad enough now.
Oh no, I don't think it's any secret that we're kind of heading towards Friday the 13th, and you might think that's an end, and of course it's an end of a chapter, but I think there's so many possibilities. You can spread off in different directions. I mean, there's so many rumours and mythologies about what happened with the Templars afterwards. They went underground, some of them joined up with the Hospitallers, some of them went to different parts of Europe, some of them joined forces with different kings, some went to England, went to Cyprus. You've got so much scope there. It's this chapter might just be the end of the chapter with this chapter might just be the end of the Paris Temple story, or the France story, but we could very well go off in different directions, and I think we've got an amazing springboard. It'd be a shame to not do that. Yeah,
I was actually you mentioned them going off to Cyprus. I just mentioned I'm Turkish Cypriot, and there's a castle in that part of Cyprus, the Turkish part. It was actually built by a Knights Templar.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was now, but...
Simon is better at the historical facts and figures, but where was it? There was one place in particular, it was like where the Knights Templar, it was their library. I think it was Cyprus, but the Saracens got there eventually and destroyed everything, but it was like one of the biggest libraries in Europe that had all of their history, and I guess that's part of the reason why what we know of the Knights Templar is kind of intertwined with, mythology, and rumor and speculation, is because so much of their, of course where they came from and why they were originally formed and all that, but it just means there's that element of mystery around them as well. Yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
I'd be up for doing a season 3 in Cyprus.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know anyone any producers out there who might?
I don't actually.
Because I love working in Prague, but I guess the winter time there it's minus 10 degrees, so I can do Cyprus.
Yeah. Even in winter it's like 10 degrees.
My passport is good to go to Cyprus.
Obviously, you've done a few period TV programs and stuff. Is there anything on TV right now that you would love to be a part of?
Well, I have to be very careful what I say here. Don't pitch the enemy. Obviously there's things like Game of Thrones is it, mate? Well, the last season was kind of slightly disappointing, wasn't it?
You would have fit in quite well.
I was meant to audition for Jaime Lannister, but I was in Turkey at the time working at a film festival, missed my audition and went, have to be another character. And then, yeah, was never called in for anything else. And then about 6 months later, I was working on a little indie movie in Bolivia called Blackthorn with the late Sam Shepard. And myself and another actor were playing a young Butch Cassidy in Sundance in this film. And the other actor was Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who plays Jaime Lannister. And he was like, yeah, we've just made this thing called Game of Thrones. We're not sure if it's going to take off. And that was 10 years ago. But anything on TV at the moment? Anything on TV at the moment? I'd like to have done Vikings, another great history production. I almost did. Before I was offered Knightfall, and yeah, I thought the character of Gawain was just amazing. I can't remember which character it was in. I think it was like season 4. Would that be right? Around the same time we were casting Knightfall. Season 4 or 5 of Vikings. Some character there who's in like for half the season. But yeah, that would have been cool. Like playing warriors, like swinging swords.
It's always the big battle things. This is a boy thing, isn't it?
It's a boy thing, yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers,
nice chatting to you.
You
Thanks.
too.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey,